Guys, I am not joking. I haven't struggled this much with Miss Universe predictions since 2018. Okay, this year it is insane the amounts of quality contestants there are. In fact, there are like 25 women who I think could easily win Miss Universe, and there are only 16 spots available. Yes, not a top 20, not a top 21. 15 contestants plus one fan vote winner, which we know fan vote, usually it has nothing to do with the judges, it has everything to do with the country that has the most fans or the most active pageant community. And I have my guesses as to who that contestant will be. She just so happens to be a quality contestant as well, but we'll get to that later. First off, I want to give some, shout outs to some girls who have been standing out, but unfortunately I just could not find a place for them on my top 16 list, guys. Like I said, so many quality contestants. First of all, Nigeria. Within the first early few days of arrivals, Nigeria stood out so much, and suddenly she was appearing anywhere, she'd be everywhere, and anywhere she became sort of a superstar. And then there's also Aruba, who's been amazing. Of course, I have to shout out my home country, Namibia, who I know probably killed it when it came to the interview. And we just have to see tonight at prelims, because I am a bit iffy on her walks and performances and things like that. But hopefully the Miss Namibia organization found it within their hearts to, give her everything that they've got in order to give her the best possible chance of placing. Guys, if Namibia places this year after 20 years of not placing, I will literally cry. Then there's also Indonesia, Iceland and Bahrain, who have all been amazing, but unfortunately I could not find a spot for them on my list. Now, this is just my little post-arrival favorites list. Of course, tonight we do have the preliminary competition as well as the national costume competition. I don't think it's very wise for them to have both those things in the same night, because now everybody is going to be focusing on the dresses from prelims instead of the costumes from national costume. But anyway, and please remember, if you're South African, then the exact date and time to watch prelims is the early morning of 12th of January 2023 at 3 a.m. And then Natcast is going to be 2 hours after that at 5 a.m. So without further ado, let me get into my top 16 post-arrival picks for Miss Universe this year. Of course, I'm going to start off by mentioning that I do think that Vietnam is the fan vote, but she also has her little place on this list. So at number 16, it was a difficult decision, but I do have Mauritius. I know, there are so many incredible women competing this year, but for me, there's just something so special about Mauritius, and I do feel like she really could find a spot in the top 16 of Miss Universe this year. Granted, she only made it to the top 12 when she competed at Miss Supranational a little bit earlier in 2022, but I have full faith in Alexandrine. I just think that she is an incredible woman, and I do see her more as a Miss Universe type of girl. I think that she very much is the type of woman that Miss Universe likes and would probably like to put in their top 16. At number 15, I have India. Of course, India is the back-to-back queen this year. She is coming for the back-to-back. Unfortunately, there are just 14 other women on this list who I have thought to place higher than her. For me, India this year isn't necessarily standing out as much as Harnaaz was last year. Harnaaz last year actually dominated. It was very clear from the beginning that Harnaaz was going to be in the top 5. For me this year, India, I feel like she's a bit lacking. She's not really bringing her own spice. I don't know how to say this. She's not really bringing her own sort of thing the way that Harnaaz was last year. Last year, Harnaaz very much put herself on top, and I'm not getting it from India this year. Then at number 14, like I said before, I have Vietnam as the fan vote winner, but I do also think that Vietnam could very well get into the top 16 on her own merit. Vietnam is an incredible woman, and she did also manage to get into the top 10 at Miss Supranational in 2019. So I have absolutely no doubt that Vietnam will place at Miss Universe this year. At number 13, I have Italy, and it's so funny because this woman actually reminds me so much of our own Miss Namibia this year. Her and Cassia, for me, they have such resemblances to each other, but I feel like Italy is very refined, you know, and she comes across as very mature. I feel like Italy's contestant this year would have done extremely well in 2019 as well. I feel like in 2019, Miss Universe was very much looking for that mature sort of woman, a leader, and I feel like that is what I get from Italy a lot. She's very mature and confident in herself, and that will take you far at Miss Universe. At number 12, I have Panama. Now, first of all, I absolutely adore Panama. Panama to me is an absolute rock star, and the more I see of her, the more I am convinced that she will not only end at 12. Now, of course, we have prelims coming up, and it's usually only after prelims that we can all definitively say who our favorites are. So I am absolutely excited to see Panama competing at prelims against all of her other peers. Panama, of course, was also in the top 12 at Miss World 2019, which is extremely impressive. So I am just waiting to see how Panama is going to do at prelims, and then perhaps in my final prediction, which I will be posting after prelims, perhaps, you know, a few days, like a day or what, before the finals, I am already sensing within myself that perhaps Panama will be getting higher on this list. And then at number 11, I have Venezuela. I know a lot of people love Amanda. Again, I absolutely adore Amanda as well. There are just a lot of other women on this list who I can see bringing more, and who I can see actually fitting better into the Miss Universe sort of mold that we've got. Of course, I definitely think that what the new organization will be looking for in a Miss Universe will be different from IMG and, you know, Trump before that. There's a clear difference between all of the eras of Miss Universe, you know, the woman they sort of like to look for and choose. I feel like in the IMG era, the woman they looked for was very much, you know, confident, dynamic, a leader, etc. And perhaps that will change now to some other qualities that are still positive, you know, perhaps a bit more, you know, caring, kind, etc. They might change what they're looking for, is what I'm basically trying to say. But for me, Venezuela, she's amazing. She's great. I'll have to see at prelims. Of course, she will be doing amazing at, you know, prelims. Venezuela always does. But for me, at the moment, she's just at number 11. Just because there are women on this list, 10 other who I like more. Then at number 10, I have the USA, and I actually have a bone to pick with the USA's styling since she got to Miss Universe. I know it's very edgy, it's very avant-garde, and a lot of people, of course, love that. And of course, the USA is such a gorgeous woman. She can pull basically anything off, but like that one zombie dress, like that mummy dress that she was wearing, I'm just not vibing with the USA's styling. I don't know what it is. It's a bit too, like, sort of trying to be very trendy for me. But besides that, I feel like the USA is very confident, perhaps bordering on hubris, but that's just me. It might be perceived differently by other people. For me, she's still in my top 10 because I do think that she's a quality contestant, but I can definitely see some places where other women are perhaps bringing more than she is. At number 9, I have Guatemala, and of course Guatemala is a huge fan favorite this year because she has proven herself to be a great contestant before. Granted, she competed at Miss Grand International before in 2020, where she reached a second runner-up placement. Now, I know that Miss Grand is not Miss Universe. I mean, Miss Universe is the only Miss Universe, and Miss Grand can only wish to be Miss Universe. But for me, I feel like this speaks to her ability to place, okay? And that's why I have her in my top 16. But I also feel like she did a marvelous job at Miss Grand International, and I don't see why a couple of years later she can't repeat that, if not better, at Miss Universe. And that is why I have her at number 9. At number 8, I have Portugal. And you guys, I adore this woman. I am so happy that Portugal actually has a quality contestant representing them at Miss Universe this year. I think a lot of Filipinos might recognize Portugal's Telma Madeira this year because she actually competed alongside the Filipina contestant for Miss Universe this year back in 2018 at Miss Earth. And for me, Telma she sparkles and she has this positive, radiant energy. She's always smiling. You never see her, trying to be something she's not. And I think that's what it comes down to for me. She is so authentic and I absolutely love that. I think that Telma is just such a bright, shining light at Miss Universe this year. And you know what, I wouldn't even be surprised if she ends up in the top 7 because I love everything about her. I love how authentic she is. I love how positive she comes across. I think that Portugal definitely has a gem at Miss Universe this year. Now, moving into the top 7, because I did hear and I did read that there wasn't going to be a top 5 this year, apparently. It was going to be something else. And because I think a few months back, the organization talked about how they might have a top 7, and then from that 7, they're going to announce the runner-up and then the winner. I don't think they're doing that. There's still going to be a top 3 from what I know, and then a top 2, and then the winner. But they are not having a top 5 from what I heard. So I think it's going to be a top 7, then top 3, and then, final 2. So for my top 7, at number 7, I have Peru. Now, of course, Peru has been a favorite from the moment she was crowned. She's also, if you guys didn't know, the most famous or the most followed contestant at Miss Universe this year. She has 500, 600 and something crazy like that, because she is a musician in Peru. And not only that, of course, she's very beautiful, a model, whatever. She is so gorgeous. And a lot of people absolutely love her. For me, she comes across as this sort of very chill, I almost want to say borderline California, that type of vibe. She's very natural. She comes across as, this sort of natural, chill person. And I don't know if that specifically might be what Miss Universe is looking for this year, but I must say that it really charms me to see women at Miss Universe, in their natural type of form. She seems like she just goes with the flow, and I like her personality. Not to mention, if you've seen her walking, those legs, she is practically perfect in every way for the Miss Universe crown. So I am just waiting in the wings to see her competing at the prelims tonight. And then at number 6, I have the Philippines. Now, like I've mentioned before, the Philippines was present in the top 8 at Miss Earth back in 2018. And who knows, the Philippines might actually also end up in the top 3 this year. I have to see Celeste at prelims tonight, but I have seen Celeste performing before, and let me tell you, it is nothing to scoff at. This woman is absolutely dangerous at the competition this year. And the only reason why she's really at top 6, because she could easily win Miss Universe. The only reason why she's at top 6 is just because there are other women who I personally sort of vibe with more and want to see as Miss Universe more. So at number 5, I have Colombia, who's also been a very big favorite from the start. What I really like about Colombia, right, because at this point, since the top 7, no, even this entire top 16, all of these women know how to walk, they know how to talk, they know how to perform, they know their styling, they have the Miss Universe basics, okay? All of these women know how to do these things. So at this point, I have to start actually looking at what draws me to every single woman, and then I have to prioritize that within myself in order to rank them from, say, 7 to 1. So it's very difficult, and it's very much based on my own preference and what I would assume or try to assume the preferences of the judges will be also. So for me, what I really love about Colombia, besides the fact that she has all the basics of a good Miss Universe, you know, she has social media down, she has walking down, she has styling down, she has beauty down, she has speaking down. What I really like about Colombia is the fact that she comes across as being so warm and humble. And I watch Colombia and I see her moving and I see her talking and I see her interacting with people, and I cannot help but feel like she very much reminds me of Shani Robber, who was Miss Supranational 2021. They both have that sort of very, I don't want to use the word sweet, but like compassionate vibe about them. You know, the sort of, they really care about people and really feel engaged when they talk to people. That's what I get from Colombia. And we mustn't underestimate how extremely powerful, you know, emanating sort of kindness from yourself can be when you are competing at a pageant. And I feel like a lot of the times the girls forget to sort of show their nice side, their soft side. A lot of women only focus on, you know, looking badass, doing all of the walks, doing the extreme model poses, and, you know, they forget to smile and be nice and engage, you know. I like Colombia a lot. I feel like I'm drawn to her, and I feel like other people will be drawn to her as well. Now at number 4, it does pain me to say, I have South Africa and Davi. But the transformation, guys, the moment that she stepped foot in the USA and she had that glorious hair, and she's just been doing amazing. I know, people are very divided on Davi. I've seen people who don't have her in their top 16 at all, which, fair enough, there are incredible women competing at Miss Universe this year. And then I saw people who have her as their winner and in their top 3. I know, right? It's just so confusing at Miss Universe this year. It's sort of impossible to know who should be in your top and who shouldn't, and even who should win. Even for me, I have no clue who should win. Even though I do still have a winner on this list, I would be happy with every single woman on this list winning, to be honest, because I've never experienced the Miss Universe where nobody truly knew exactly who should win. Even in 2018, which, you know, arguably was one of the most competitive editions of Miss Universe ever, I think that almost everyone could agree that Catriona Gray was the winner. You know, should have won at least a few days ahead of time. But wow, this year it's impossible. So I have Ndavi at number 4, but we'll see at prelims, because maybe she'll pull a Zozi on us and then go straight to the top. So in my top 3, as the second runner-up, I have Curacao. Now, Curacao almost gave me a heart attack. Because this woman came down with, you know, the illness that we've all been trying to avoid for the past 3 years. And she almost didn't come to Miss Universe, which was so scary because she's one of my favorites. I absolutely love Curacao, and if Curacao couldn't come to Miss Universe, that would have been devastating. So I have her as my second runner-up, and I absolutely adore her. But for my final 2, guys, so difficult, and I still don't know which one of these women really should win, but I had to make my decision as usual. So as my first runner-up, I have Puerto Rico. Now, Puerto Rico is a bit of a tricky subject because I know a lot of people always argue that, you know, she competed at Miss USA before, she represented Miami, but she didn't win Miss USA. She only reached second runner-up. That was a few years ago already, so she might as well improve. Now she's obviously representing Puerto Rico, Ashley Carino. I can see her as Miss Universe. Okay, I can definitely see Ashley as Miss Universe. And tonight, obviously, she's going to stun us at prelims. And I'm so deathly afraid, honestly, that after prelims, I'm still going to be stuck not knowing who should win. Because usually after prelims, I have a pretty good idea, you know, of who I think should win, etc, etc. But this year, guys, I just know. Maybe prelims even will confuse me even more. And that's what I'm definitely afraid of. So for me right now, I have Puerto Rico at first runner-up. And my winner, guys, still remains, and I will... I was almost convinced to change this, but then I decided, and then I started looking through like pictures from the past few days, and I decided no, she's still my winner. At number 1, as the winner, I still have Thailand, because this woman still stuns. She is still amazing, and she continues to be amazing. Perhaps, guys, perhaps my mind will finally change tonight at prelims, but like I said, prelims might end up just confusing me even more. And while I was trying to figure out my top girls, right, while I was trying to write this list, I actually I went so far as to post in my community tab on YouTube that, you know, please help, please send me your top 16, I need to see something. And it didn't help, but thank you. And so I still have Thailand as my winner for now. Let me know what you guys think, because it's been exceedingly difficult to make these lists and to look at these women, and they are literally all amazing. I can think of, if Miss Universe had a top 30, a top 30, yeah, then that would be easy, okay? I could think of 30 girls. 16? Impossible. It's an impossible task. That's why I had to shout out like 6 women ahead of the video as well, and I probably left some out. It's exceedingly difficult this year, guys, but I'm glad I can share my pain with you at least. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you tonight at prelims. Bye.